So, hi everyone. Excited to be here, excited to have all of you, and I believe that we're going to learn a whole lot today. This is Scholars Life with AFM Stories. I am AFM Stories, by the way, Faith Moyosore Agbola. I'm very much passionate about helping young people like myself get opportunities, especially around education. I am a 2020 Chevening Scholar, and I have like a whole YouTube channel which is dedicated to like educating you guys on scholarship. So I have like a series called The Chevening Guide. I have an interview series with different scholars where I get to ask them questions and speak to them. As a way of doing more, we're going to be having this series basically weekly or bi-monthly, depending on the availability of scholars. I'm going to be bringing individuals that have won like specific scholarships and basically bring them to ask them how they got it, tips for people that are interested in them, and then you guys get to ask questions from time to time. Today's guest is Ibukun, and I've known her like since uni. She's such a phenomenal person, and it's amazing to have her as our first guest. Trust me, I know that there's a lot that you guys are going to learn from her. I'm sure a lot of you have already seen her bio. She won 3 scholarships this year. Like, I think that if not that, I want everybody to be muted. I feel like she deserves like a round of applause. She's also working at the World Bank Group. I'm sure that I saw quite a number of questions around, people asking how to get such opportunities. So I know that we are going to learn a whole lot. To make this organized, I already have some predetermined questions which I tend to ask scholars, which I'm going to ask her. And then once we're done with that, you guys already filled some questions while you were filling the registration form. So I'm just going to be asking her those questions. So if this is cool, you could just maybe do like a thumbs up or something. Anyways, let's just move on. So Ibukun, how are you now? Why are you muted? Talk to me.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone, or whatever time of the day it is. How's everyone doing? It's my pleasure to be here. Thanks, Faith, for the wonderful introduction. Yeah, nice to meet everyone today, and I'm hoping that I can provide as much help as I can, and if there's anything that I'm unable to address today, myself and Faith will do our best to come back to you guys later via email or through her various social media channels.
Yeah, so let's just go right into it. So the first question I'd like to ask you is, do you think that anybody can win a scholarship? Because I've heard quite a number of people have like different perspectives. I think someone is unmuted. Guys, can we mute ourselves when we're joining? Sorry, let me just mute that so that it doesn't distract the rest of us. All right. Yeah, so like people have like different perspectives. Some people think that winning a scholarship is really difficult, is reserved for like a special set of people. Some people believe that it's really hard, they can't get in. Some people believe that it's too easy, they're bigger than that. I don't know if there are people that believe that anyways. But what do you think? Can anybody win a scholarship? And what even made you decide to apply for scholarships? What gave you that push that you said, I can do this, I can apply?
Yeah, so I'm going to answer my question by saying everyone who meets the requirement for a particular scholarship can win the scholarship. I wouldn't just put it out there that anyone at all can win a scholarship, because every scholarship has criteria that they expect of the candidate. So if you meet those criteria, you can win the scholarship without having to do anything extraordinary like outside the criteria of the scholarship. But then again, it's not an easy thing. It takes a lot of effort, like a lot of time and a lot of determination, because myself and Faith that you're seeing here today, like the fact that we won scholarships today does not mean that last year we did not fail out on certain scholarship applications, or we applied and we got them. So in as much as it's very possible for anyone at all to win a scholarship, there's also the idea that I like to tell myself that when it's your time, it will happen for you. Because I have a lot of friends who, like, I have a friend who applied for the Achieving Scholarship 4 times before she eventually won it. So if she had given up in the first year, like she would just be like, oh, this scholarship is so hard, I'm not doing it again. But then at the 4th attempt, she was able to win it. And it doesn't mean that in those 4 years, she wasn't doing anything else with her life. She was also able to gain like work experience that helped even build and make her application for the scholarship stronger. So my answer is, if you meet the criteria for any given scholarship, then you have every ability to win it. And you don't need to know anybody, you don't need to know anyone in the board that is assigning the scholarship, as long as you meet all the requirements and you're willing to put in the time to write whatever essays or do whatever research is required.
Yeah, well, that really makes a whole lot of sense. The next question I'd like to ask you is, I know that you've had interactions with scholars, you've spoken to scholars, you have some of them as roommates right now. And from your interactions, what would you say are general characteristics of scholars? What is that recurring thing that you keep seeing selected scholarship applicants? What are those characteristics that you see them have or display per se?
Okay, so the first one I would say is determination. As a scholar, you have to be determined, because like I said before, you would encounter a lot of things that would discourage you. Some people will tell you that it's not possible, and you need to be determined and be convinced in your decision to pursue whatever scholarship you've decided. I remember when I was applying, people were telling me that, people don't get scholarships in the finance field. Like, if you want to get a scholarship, you need to be like maybe in the medical field or in development related fields. And I'm like, okay, I've heard you, but then I'll get a scholarship in my field. So you need to be determined. You need to be sure of your dreams and hold on tight to them. I have a friend that used to say that don't follow your dreams, chase them. You need to chase your dream. It's not enough to just follow your dream. So apart from determination, you also need to be excellent all around. And excellent doesn't necessarily mean having the best grades in school or being a 5-pointer. But with excellence, I mean in your attitude, in your character, in your relationship with people, in your relationship even with your family members, because as a scholar you need support from every aspect of your life. Like, if you're good in just academics and then your character and your personal life is not okay, then you find it difficult relating to other students, especially in environments outside of Nigeria. Like, when you're schooling outside Nigeria, you'll be put on a lot of group projects. So if you don't know how to relate with people, even though you're a scholar and you're there on scholarship, like, you have bad grades because your group members will keep rating you down, that you don't know how to collaborate. So it's all of that. So I'll say determination, focus, and all-round excellence.
I think I'll just even add like a couple of things as well. Also, in addition to what you said, you guys also need to have research skills. The honest truth is that there's so many like opportunities, but the truth is you have to really have the passion for it. You have to be ready to research. So you can't just go to the website and say, oh, okay, they need someone that has leadership skills, or they need someone that has experience, or they need someone that can do this and that. You need to be able to go and research about the past scholars. Who are the people that have won this scholarship? What are the kind of things they did? What were the courses they chose? Do you get? Because one thing that will really make your application stand out is the level of research that you have done as a person. So you have to be willing to do research, and not just even research about, the scholarship, research also about your career plan. One of the ways that you can really wow them is to have like deep knowledge. They need to know that this person knows exactly what they're saying. If you're not ready to do the work in terms of research, it's going to be like literally difficult. One last thing, you need to have like experience in terms of your impact story. So what ways have you touched the lives of people? Whether it's through volunteering, you don't even have to own your own business, or maybe even own like your own NGO. Those things help, but like, what change have you made in your organization? What change have you made in your small community? Most of the scholars that I've spoken to in the different interviews, especially like the one on my YouTube channel, a lot of them had like a story of something that they have solved. And I'm sure Ibukun also had like a story of things that she has solved in her company. So it's very, very, very important. Like, I just wanted to do that.
I 100% agree with you, and the second side of that would be, the second side of research skills would be writing skills. It's not enough to have a story. You need to be able to communicate the story. You need to be able to share the story. You need to be able to tell me the story in such a way that just by reading whatever you have written, I can picture myself in your life. I can understand what you've done. And most times with these scholarship applications, you are usually limited to a very small number of words. So you need to be able to put your ideas together in a concise manner and make the most use. Like, you don't have to be wordy and start a lot of repetition. Like, hit the nail on the head. And what was the issue? How did you go about solving it? What was the impact? Like Faith said, impact story is very important. So knowing how to put your story and whatever you've achieved in writing. So it's not enough to just be all-round excellent. How can you communicate that all-round excellence to us in writing? So like, building your writing skills is really, really important in winning scholarships and any other global opportunities, because most companies, even when you're applying, they'll ask you for a cover letter or a letter of motivation. That's where you show them why they need to pick you over thousands of other candidates that are applying.
And then, similar to what she's saying, because people also ask a lot of questions about how to write an amazing essay, you have to tell a story, like she has said. People have to, because they are reading a lot of, essays at the same time. They're literally going to be tired. So what is really going to catch them is the story that you're telling. All of my essays, I really avoided sounding like I was making definitions or defining things. I literally just said my story in the way it was. In 2016, I saw this problem. I had this problem. I wanted to solve it, and that's what I did. Also, you don't want to be rambling in the essays, because that's like something that people tend to do. And I feel like it's important that aside from also telling a story, you also structure it well. We've said a lot about the STAR approach. Myself and Ibukun have discussed it. Like, people always say the STAR approach. How well are you using the STAR approach in terms of situation, task, action, and result? Whatever story you're telling, you need to think about it in terms of the situation. What was happening? The task, what did you have to do? The action, what did you do? The result, what happened? And results is not just, I did an event that reached 1,000 people. No. How many people in that event did you impact? You get? So you need to be able to talk about that. So a lot of people ask about, how to find scholarship opportunities. But I want to ask Ibukun, how did she get information about the 3 scholarships that she applied for? Like, how did she do the research? How did you do it? Because people will be interested. Okay, they want to know about the scholarships that you won. So how can people get information about them?
Okay, so let me just put this out there, or as the typical Nigerians say, let me just clear you. If you think that it's going to take you a day or two to find a scholarship, then you're joking, and this seminar is not for you. And scholarship applications, like I said, take time. They take determination. I started looking out for scholarship opportunities from the very year I graduated from my undergrad, and that was in 2016.
Wow.
And right from 2016, I started even like, okay, what do I need? What are the criteria for the scholarships I'm interested in? I was like, okay, most schools are asking me for IELTS results. That means that I need to start thinking of writing this exam. What is the exam cost? How long is the exam results valid for? What year am I planning on going for my postgraduate? So if I plan on going for my postgraduate in 2019, that means that I need to have written my IELTS either 2018 or 2019. But if I write it in 2017, by 2019 I'll have to write another one because the exam is valid for only 2 years. That kind of planning. Okay, what do most scholarships require? Okay, some scholarships require work experience. I've just graduated from school. I don't have work experience. That means I need to find a job. And then to find a job, okay, what do I even want to study in my master's? I did a bachelor in accounting. I can't go to school and study accounting again at master's level, maybe finance, maybe development, whatever it is. What kind of experience can I get that will be relevant to what I want to study for my master's? Because it makes no sense doing maybe customer service and then coming to do a master's in finance. How are you going to justify that your customer service experience relates to the finance masters you want to study. And that's the difference between scholarship boards and universities. Like, the school can give you admission in a course where you don't have any experience or any defined career goals, but no scholarship board will give you a scholarship in a course where you cannot justify your experience or you cannot justify your career goals. So it's one of two things, or a combination of both. It's either you have experience that relates to what you want to study, or you are able to prove beyond reasonable doubts that after this degree you will start working in that new field that you're diving out into. For instance, someone leaving accounting to go and do a master's in marketing, you don't have any marketing experience, but you're able to show that in your volunteering you've been doing marketing related stuff, and that is really, really what you want to do, and you're able to give them concrete examples of what you will be doing after that master's degree. You need to convince the board. So in 2016,
so can you make it specific to the scholarships that you won? So for Commonwealth, what would you say gave you the edge in terms of the requirements? Because I'm sure that there are people here that maybe want to win like the Commonwealth shared to the school that you wanted to, which is the SOAS University of London. So like, what would you say was how did you position yourself to win that scholarship? Because I know you want that one. So maybe we need to start from that.
Okay, so for instance, with the with the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship, the course I won the scholarship for was development studies. And at the time, I actually applied for this scholarship last year as well, and I did not get it because when I was applying, I was working in Deloitte as an audit associate, nothing related to development. In fact, that same year, I applied to LSE for the same course, and LSE was like, "We are sorry, we cannot give you admission to this course because you don't have any relevant experience and we don't see how this course is going to improve your career." And I was really like hurt because I'm like, this is really what I want to do. And then I was like, okay, if they are saying experience is the problem, then I need to go and work for an international development organization. And I applied to the World Bank Group and I got a job at the World Bank Group. When I applied the next year for LST, like they gave me admission in less than 2 weeks because on my CV, seeing an analyst, seeing a reference from my manager at the World Bank, they're like, okay, this person is on the path that we want to support. I don't know if
let me just cut you. Yeah, that makes sense. So in some of the questions, people also ask, how did you get a job at the World Bank Group? So maybe you could give them tips for people that are like interested in that. So what would you say gave you, like, helped you to get a job? Because obviously when people hear that, they're like, oh my God, how did you do it? So how did you even decide to apply? Because some people even let intimidation limit them. But how did you decide to apply, and how did the process help you?
So that's the point I'm making. You need to have like a plan for your life, and having a plan for your life doesn't necessarily mean that everything will fall in place the way you are thinking it in your head, but at least you know where you're going. How you get there, you might not be sure about it, but you know that this is where I'm going. Like, I'd always told myself that I wanted to be a diplomat, and then in secondary school my teachers were all like, okay, so then study international relations because that's the only way to become a diplomat. I'm like, but I don't want to study history. Faith, no offense.
That's what I studied. Exactly. Don't worry, I understand.
I don't want to study history, like I want to do accounting, but then I want to be a diplomat, so it was really confusing and I didn't know how I was going to achieve it. And then I was in Deloitte and it felt like my dreams were far-fetched, but then I came across this opportunity which a friend sent to me by email, and I opened the job requirements, and after reading through it, I felt like I wasn't qualified for it. Actually, there were a number of things that felt like it was for me, like, okay, language, like knowing a second language, having international experience, like I'd worked in other countries before, but then there were some other things that I had never done, and I just felt like, oh God, can I actually apply for this job? But then I gave it my best shot. I had a couple of friends review my letter of motivation, and I reached out to people who had been in that same job before. I reached out to them on LinkedIn asking them, please, how did you prepare for the interview? I want to apply. I've not even gotten the interview yet. I want to apply for this job, and I don't know how. And the lady was like, you've not even gotten an interview, why are you asking for? I'm like, because I want to be prepared, like I don't want to be taken by surprise. And lo and behold, I sent my application and I was invited for my first interview. I didn't need to go back to anybody because I already had the interview tips, and I prepared for the first interview, second interview, third interview, and I mean, it was that straightforward. I don't think I did anything more than that. Like, I just knew what I wanted, and I was able to convince my interviewers during the interview.
Asking about second language. Was there anything relevant to that in your Commonwealth or your World Bank?
Yes, in the World Bank, I just mentioned it that when I was reviewing the job description, there were a few criteria that I met, and there were so many more that I did not meet. And one of them I mentioned was knowing a second language, because I could speak French, and they particularly requested for someone who is bilingual in English and is.
Sorry, Ibukun.
Yeah, no problem. I
had to do that because I noticed that people kept cutting.
Yeah, so I had to also. There were some things that I did not meet. There were some criteria that I did not meet, like having knowledge of how to prepare some types of documents, which I had not done before. But I still gave it a shot. Like, I didn't allow that to discourage me, because I felt like, okay, there are 10 criteria and I meet 8. I don't meet 2. I'm still going to apply. If I don't get it, fine. But if I do, fine all the same. And I did not know anyone who was working there. And after me, like, a lot of my friends as well have gotten jobs at the World Bank Group. So it's not how can I put it now? Like, it's not something that is impossible. Like I said before, same as the scholarship. Once you meet the criteria that are required, like, you don't need to do anything else. Just make sure that you are prepared.
Even if you do not meet the criteria, because even for Chevron, I did a dedicated video. There was this girl that was always active, asking me questions, and then a few weeks to the deadline, I asked her, okay, let me review your essay. She was like, she did not submit. And I said, why? She said she felt like she couldn't get it. She wasn't qualified. I think because she had a tutu or something. I'm like, oh
exactly.
My God.
There's nowhere that says that you can't have a tutu and get you.
I know someone like in my course that had a tutu, and he's currently in the UK.
Exactly.
Like, even if they wrote that they want 2-1, there's nothing stopping you from applying. There are many things. I'm sure that when I went through the website, the first time I saw it, actually, I think the first time I saw Chevron was like 2018 or 2017. I saw it, I'm like, I can't get to this thing. There's no But then I tried it again. This time I'm like, I'm just gonna give it a shot. I got the listed rejected. This year I said, no matter what, whether I meet or I don't meet, whether I've done events that has reached 2 million people or I've not done that kind of event, I am still going to apply. And I feel like that resilience, that dedication,
exactly, the determination,
whether or not you can meet up or not, it is very, very, very important. Do not let your grades limit you. Do not let the story they're writing. Sometimes, you might need to go and get the experience, like you said, go and work, go and do that. Like for me now, when I first got rejected, I knew that, okay, maybe they need me to demonstrate more impact. Maybe they need me to do more things. And maybe they even need me to rethink. So the first time I even applied for children, I think it was something that only helped me as a creative. But then the second time I said, okay, how can I help more creatives? How can I broaden my mind? So even if you don't get selected the first time, maybe you're just not ready. Maybe you need that 1 year to develop yourself. There was a girl that told me she wanted to study masters in public health. I said, what was your first degree? I can't remember the first degree, but she had not done anything in the public health space. She had not volunteered. She had not done anything. I'm like, I'm not saying you can't get a scholarship, but there's no rush. Use this next 1 year to develop yourself, and then you can apply. Do you get? So anyways, you said that the first time you applied,
I got longlisted as well. Remember? So
I remember two of us now.
Exactly.
Funny.
So and that's what I was saying, that let's say out of the 10 criteria required for the World Bank job, I met 8, and there were like 2 or 3 that I did not meet at all. But I still thought that I could give it a shot, and I did. And it turned out that out of all the candidates that applied, I was the best. So you never know like what will stand you out. So like, just always like, so you will not fail if you try, but if you don't try, then you've already failed, because you miss
100% of the shots you don't take.
Exactly. So that's that for that. And so joining the World Bank Group and having that on my CV really stood me out in my applications this year, or let me say last year, 2019. And every school I applied to gave me admission for all the courses, whether development related or finance related, because now I had experience in both. And working at the World Bank Group was like a blend of the two, so development and finance together, because that's
okay. So for
basically
people
what
that do not get like job opportunities at the World Bank Group, I'm sure that you know other scholars that were selected. What other ways can they build their experience to position them well for that development course at the SOAS University?
Yeah, so there are so many bodies that you can volunteer with in Nigeria, for instance. Like, it depends on what you want to focus on, because development is actually very broad. It can have anything to do with food. First of all, if you're studying anything in development, you need to know your SDGs, right? So your sustainable development goals, and pick 2 or 3 sustainable development goals that you will focus on, that your course will help you achieve in your country, in your local community. And that's one of the things that the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship application actually asks you for. They would ask you, like, what are 3 SDGs that you will focus on? And for me, my SDGs that I selected were around inequality, so financial inclusion and all of that. It was around education, and it was around poverty eradication. So you need to, like we've both said, you need to actually research these things and know what it's about. Like, don't just wake up and say, I want this, and then you're clueless. You don't know, like, you're going for a development studies master's and you don't even know what an SDG is. You already set yourself up for failure, So you need to research those. And like the Lagos Food Bank, if you're doing anything food related, that's for you. There's sustainable vibes, anything environmental, that's for you. It can be gender-based development. There are so many communities in Nigeria that help women with gender-based violence and those kind of things. If it's children, all these UNICEF, UNESCO, they actually open up a lot of volunteering spots every year, and these are UN organizations. But the problem with people is that the problem with a lot of us young people actually is that we don't want to do anything for free, because I know that experience will not put food on your table, but there are times where
it would help you to get
to where exactly. So you need to like take that step and do that thing that seems like it's free, because you know what you want to get out of it at the end of the day. And I'm not saying that we should volunteer with a selfish perspective in mind, but as you're giving out yourself, you're also getting something out of it in return. So, like, don't ever waste your life, don't ever be found.
I even want to also add something to that. So aside from even volunteering, for those that don't only want to volunteer, you can also join like boot camps, events, fellowships, basically be part of them. So one thing that I noticed, that when I finished from school, I always knew that I was interested in the creative industry. But my first degree was in the creative industry. So I literally, any opportunity, any event, any boot camp that I see creatives, I'll just sign up. And at that time, I knew I wanted a scholarship, but that's why I believe that in this life, you just need to be working on things. Eventually, you tie everything into one story. I was just applying to everything. I joined Street Project Creative Youth Boot Camp. I joined Young Professionals Boot Camp, the Creatives Cohort. I basically joined different things. And in those different spaces, those different organizations might just make you do like a short collaborative project. And when you're writing your essay, so even if your first degree is not even related to what you want to study, when you say, oh, in 2016 I attended this, I was part of this, I met this person, through this I did this, that also helps. Or like she said, I volunteered for this and this, that also helps, because they need to know that it's not like they want to help you. One thing I always tell people for scholarships, people think that scholarship is just, oh, I want to do this course and that's that. It is, I am passionate about this course. I'm already working on it through volunteering, through attending events, maybe through my own small projects. Doesn't need to even be an organization of 1,000 people. It could be something small with your friends that you're doing. And then you now need a scholarship to teach you how to do that thing better. Not to teach you from scratch, because they are not doing that. They want to know that you're already active in it. And then through the scholarship, you can accelerate whatever it is that you're doing. So for me, I already said I'm doing things in the creative industry. I have this brand, I'm doing this, I have volunteered, I've done this, I've done that, I've done that. And so through your scholarship, I already have the information I just need you to give me the training. I just need to give me the experience. So you can't, because there was somebody's scholarship essay I read, and it depends on the scholarship. Some scholarship, because somebody also asked that, does your background also count in terms of
that
your
I was
financial
just
background?
about to say that you need to know whether the scholarship you're applying for is a need-based scholarship or is an excellence scholarship.
Exactly. And I think you got like some excellent scholarship and some.
Yes.
So I believe that you're going to explain that now. So
yes.
basically, if you are, and the ones I know MasterCard, even MasterCard, that they say they want low income. If you stress your background, your circumstances too much, and you reduce the impact, you're not going to get in.
Yes.
You need to be able to say, oh yes, I've had this experience, but I've been able to do this even despite mine. So I know that I don't think that scholarship is something that you just plan for tomorrow. If you really want it, you have to do the work. Ibukun started since 2016. I'm not saying that some people get to make it, they graduate, but while they were in school, they were trying to work on things. What will make it easy for you to get it is have a lot to say. For Shelvin, I know they even bother saying that you have a low income. Don't even try it.
They don't need to know.
My Shelvin, I literally was just, you have to hype yourself. Let me just tell you. You have to really hype yourself. Commonwealth, I think you have to have a balance as well.
Yes, exactly. So the thing about the Commonwealth Scholarship is that it's a need-based scholarship, but then you also need to highlight the impact that you're going to have on your community and all of that. And when they say need-based, they are not asking you to come and tell them details of how you first of all, don't be cliche. Let me just say that. Don't be cliche. Don't come and tell them that, oh, I live in a village where there's only one computer and I have to trek 10 kilometers to go there and write this essay. Like, don't say that. Just explain to them.
There's no space.
Yes. And, first of all, okay, maybe I skip this out and I should point it out that for me, my motivation has always been, right from when I was a child, that I know the kind of home I come from. I come from a very humble background. Let me just put this out there. Like, my parents are not rich, like, don't get it twisted. So all my life I've been on scholarships. And I told myself after my undergraduate degree that if I'm going to do a master's, I will not pay for it. That was beyond the fact that I wanted to impact anybody. I knew that there's no way I can pay for the scholarship, not because I cannot, not because I don't want to rather, but because I simply cannot afford it, and my parents cannot afford it. So there has to be a way. And that is why I started like making plans right from the day I left school. Like, okay, even if I have savings, like I will not use my savings to pay for a master's abroad. Like, I don't know how it's going to happen, but I'm going to get this sorted out for me. And if it means that I have to wait 5 years, 6 years, that's fine. While waiting, I'll be getting relevant experience to make my application stronger. But I will not sit at home and fold my arms and just wait for money to drop from the sky, And that was kind of my major motivation to win a scholarship. Beyond any impact that I wanted to make, it was because I knew that I cannot afford it by myself. So with the Commonwealth Scholarship, for instance, in as much as you're talking about the fact that they want to see that you've always actually been on, you can't have attended a Babcock University, for instance, without any financial aid and come and tell Commonwealth Scholarship that you need their money. You need to show that maybe something has happened in your life since Babcock. Maybe your dad has lost his job, or exchange rates have skyrocketed to the point that maybe you had money before, but now you can't afford it again, because they know about these schools in Nigeria. Like, Babcock school fees is like 1 million, and then you're saying that you don't have money for university. You get, like, there needs to be a balance. Either you got a scholarship, or maybe now you have younger siblings who are also in school and your parents need to take care of them,
or it was multiple donations
from people, that kind of thing. So there needs to be a story, and you don't have to lie, because trust me, they will find out. Let me just put this out there. Like, if you lie in your application, it might not catch up with you today. I've heard stories of people whose scholarships have been recalled and they had to pay back the money that they won because they found out later. Like, at the end of this application, there's a tiny little writing that they ask you, they'll say everything I've stated in this application is true, and if I found out that is a lie, they will collect their money back. It's there, and you have to tick it before you submit. So if something happens in the future and they decide to investigate your background and that's found out, like, please, I know Nigerians, we like to be smart and everything, but scholarship applications and job applications, that is not the place to be smart. I also
even
know
in the interview, they can actually catch you.
Exactly.
Because I know someone that mentioned something that they said, she said, oh, I have this brand. Okay, can we see the social media handle? If she was lying about it, that was the end.
That's the end. Or someone who applied for a job and on his CV, he wrote there that he's fluent in French. During the interviews, someone on the panel was a francophone and they started the interview in French and he started stammering. Like, not only, of course, did he not get the job, he was blacklisted by the company. Do you know what it means to be blacklisted? Like, you can never apply to that company again or any other company in that group. So there are just some things that you should not do. Like, don't lie on your CV, don't lie on your application. It's not worth it. Whatever story you have, just like make it as credible as
I feel like it's the fear of their experience not being enough. I feel like there's a girl that I interviewed, Ayola. She was simply a teacher in a school in Nigeria. But she got the Chevening scholarship to study education leadership. You know, all she wrote in her essay, all she said in that interview, I have been a teacher since I graduated. I didn't want to be a teacher, but I didn't find job, so I became a teacher. But while I was a teacher, I discovered this, I discovered that, and I want to change the educational space in Nigeria. She does not have a school, she does not have an NGO. All she has is that she was a teacher, and that was enough. It's the way you explain it, the size of your impact. Do you get? That's what I just think. So don't lie. It's not worth it.
Exactly, it's not worth the lies. That's one thing that if you don't take anything out of this session today, like, be honest in your application. So that's that about the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship. Really, I mean, you need to, if you're going to apply for this Commonwealth Scholarship this year, you should have started your preparations in January, because the scholarship will open in December, and by December you need to have your essays ready. And like, the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship has 5 different themes, and the course that you're studying needs to be under that theme. They sponsor scholarships to only particular schools for particular courses. So you need to research the school and the course you're interested in and find out how your experience ties to that theme and how your career goals will tie you back to that theme. And reasonable
think of an impact
goals. Yes, think of an impact. For instance, for me now, it was really easy for me this year because I could say this is already what I'm doing at the World Bank, and if I am able to go to school for my master's, I'll be given bigger projects at work, because the more your education, the more kind of projects that they give you to handle, the higher your position at work and the more impact you're able to make. So it was like they didn't need to go to the moon to understand what I was saying. A lot of people who were reviewing my essays probably have even worked in the World Bank, so they knew that what I was saying made sense. Like, okay, let's actually support this girl because this is what she can do for Nigeria, this is what she can do for Africa. And another reason why I knew that this year Chevening was not going to be for me is because Chevening likes to support if it's Chevening Nigeria, they are supporting Nigerians doing stuff in Nigeria, and I consider myself to be an African.
Yeah.
Like, I lived in Nigeria for maybe only 6 years. Growing up, I was in another African country. After school, I worked in Nigeria briefly, moved to Ghana. So there was not really much tying me back to Nigeria. I was mostly looking at it from a lens of development in West Africa and Africa as a whole. So Chevening obviously was not going to work out for me. But then with the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship.
The Global Excellence. So I don't know if that one is the one at University College Dublin. I don't know if that one's also a need-based scholarship or like excellent.
It's not a
There
need-based
are
scholarship.
people here that might not even know about the scholarship. So maybe you could just educate us about it.
Okay, so actually I ended up taking the Global Excellence Scholarship. So right now I'm doing my master's in finance at the University College of Dublin, and there were many reasons why I decided to take that.
And that
scholarship.
is in Ireland, right?
Yes, in Ireland. And there are many reasons why I decided to take that scholarship and go to that school instead of SOAS London with the fully funded Commonwealth. So this scholarship is not a needs-based scholarship. It's a scholarship that is given to students who have been able to exhibit all-round excellence, and all-round excellence is academic excellence, excellence in your work, excellence in your community. So how have you been able to impact your community in any way? How have you been able to demonstrate academic excellence all through your life, and at your place of work, what have you done, what have you achieved that has made you stand out. And then finally, another thing that UCD Global Excellence Scholarship rewards is people that will be ambassadors for the university during and after the course. So you need to show that you will be, like, you would speak well of the school, you would bring more students to the school, not like you're going to be a marketer or something, but and the only way you can't just come and tell them that I will do this. Okay, if you're telling me that you'll be an ambassador for UCD, how were you an ambassador for Redeemers University? When you were in Redeemers University, what did you do? So for me, it was really easy, because during my undergraduate days, like, I participated in a lot of events about the school, like branding for the school. So many students that came to my school because of me and because of things that I had to say, and that was really easy for me. I didn't even know that I was doing it at the time, just because I was a scholar. Like, I used to tell people that Ron, if you do well, like, you get scholarship. And just like that, like, people would apply to the school and always try to.
Sorry to cut you. Because for people that want to know how to find this opportunity, how did you find out about this scholarship? You just Google
is the answer.
Did you Google? Cause I feel like maybe we need to break it down. Did you Google scholarships for international students that want to study finance? Like, because when people talk about scholarship, people tend to limit it to just Commonwealth, Chevening, even Erasmus is just recently I've been hearing that Commonwealth, Chevening, MasterCard. But there are many scholarships that give you 100%. It's not even like a lot of people that are running towards them.
Exactly.
So how did you find out about it? You just Googled. I'm sure that you just
so the thing,
tell us the secret.
No. So I think I always tell people that, and I think I said it before already during this session. The first thing you need to decide on is, what do you want to study? Like, you should not be choosing your course based on a scholarship.
School.
Yes, you should choose the course based on what you want to do. Like, and that's why I decided not to go to SOAS anymore, because when I was applying for that course, it's because I wanted the scholarship. But then after working at the World Bank Group, I realized that I don't actually need a degree in development to get a job at the World Bank, because I was already at the World Bank with my bachelor's in accounting. So it was not necessary for me to get in. So why would I go and study something that it might not necessarily be relevant to my future career goals anymore? So I'd rather study something that I know that, first of all, I'm comfortable with, and it would open more doors of opportunities for me. So you need to decide, like, honestly and truthfully to yourself, not because there's any scholarship attached.
Yeah.
What do I want to study?
It's like, not worth it.
Yeah, like, faith
being someone else
is very I have not told you this before, but like, it's very inspiring, because I would never have imagined in my life that someone that studied international relations would find herself in the creative space. Do you understand? And it's not because, like, before now, I've not heard of Chevening scholars in the creative space. Like, it's not something that is common, because most Chevening scholars are like either in health or in international development, or maybe, I don't know.
People are always looking at me like, oh, you got Chevening to study MSc Creative Enterprise.
And
what did you tell them?
Exactly. And I met someone that got Chevening to study how to teach English language. Can you imagine?
Yes.
Like, so you need to know.
Like, and that got Chevening for drawing, to study drawing.
And this lady, she's a teacher in Pakistan, just like the example Faith gave. She's a teacher in Pakistan, and she discovered that a lot of Pakistani students have issues with English language. So she wants to go and learn how to better teach them. So it's not about the fact that there's a scholarship. It's about, what do you want to do? What do you want to do for yourself? And what do you want to do that will impact others? That should be the first thing that will determine the course you want to study. So the course first. After determining the course you want to study, what schools are the best in that course? You're not looking for what school can you study the course in. So you will check rankings of courses and see the best schools in that course.
Aside from the ranking, to check the modules, because sometimes you just see the name of the course, and when you not check the information,
it's like misleading. Exactly. So check like, and then another thing, after checking the looking for the best schools in that course, and also checking the module description, like the syllabus, what will you be learning on that course? What you'll be learning on that course, is it relevant to what you want to do? That's 3 things now. So the course, the school, and the module description. Then the 4th thing is, where are the alumni of that course today?
Thank
The
you.
people that graduated from that course, what are they doing? Are they selling pepper in the market, or are they in international banks that you are eyeing?
What banks?
Yes, and you can
what
also,
are their organizations? What are they volunteering in?
Exactly. And another, you can also reverse this by, first of all, going to LinkedIn and finding people that are doing jobs that you are interested in. Then now going to see the school they went to and the course they studied. So you can do it backwards or you can do it forwards.
Sure, I will.
To you. So when you see the schools that they went to, then you know the kind of people that those companies you're interested in are looking for. So you need to pattern your life after them. Right, that's one way to do it. And after that, you now decide on the country where you want to study. See, forget all these UK, US. You can study in Australia and make it. You can study in Japan and make it. Like, first of all,
in Ireland, like my
sister. Like, the definition of making it is you being fulfilled, you achieving what you've always wanted to achieve. It's not about where all other Nigerians are or where, if you are here because you want to jackpot, like, please, I don't know.
It depends though. Still, you can still jackpot. Like, somebody asked me that she wants to jackpot, but she knows that she can't, I think, do chevening and come home.
Because you have to come back.
Chevening, you have to sign an agreement that you're coming back. There's no story. But I was like, maybe there are some university-specific scholarships though. I don't know if
exactly
those allow you to stay, to do PhD and all of those
exactly.
things. So I think like specific universities,
global excellence scholarship, they don't require you to go back. In fact, after school,
so
Ireland has a policy where they give you like a 2 years work visa. Like, you don't need to do anything special to qualify.
Even with a scholarship.
Yes, even with a scholarship. Because there's also the Government of Ireland scholarship, and that one is your tuition plus 10,000 euros in stipend. Even if you win that, they want you to stay back. So you need to define your goals. You need to know, like, what do you want? And that's why I'm like, if your goal is to leave the country, don't come and lie to Chimney and say you want to come back to Nigeria, because Chimney is not the scholarship for you. Like, look out for scholarships that will allow you to get international experience after school. So you should be eyeing scholarships like the school scholarships itself, or other scholarships that don't bind you to return to your home country, if that is what you want. But don't pretend and say, oh, I want to go, but then let me just get you. Maybe after that I can find a way to stay back. My dear, you will be deported. They will even give you the chance to attend your graduation.
It was not the day you're coming back. Like,
exactly.
They're going to book your flight,
your return ticket,
and your return ticket. So there's no need. So
don't like
you said, know your goal and then find the scholarship that aligns
that
with
works for it. Exactly. So for me, apart from the fact that I changed my mind, I decided that I don't need to study international development again because I already got my dream job. So why do I need to study international development? It was also the fact that going to the UK after school, I had to come back to Nigeria and do what? I did not even leave Nigeria because I was working in Ghana. So I'm going back to Nigeria to do what? What exactly am I going back to do? Yes, so I
already had a business in Nigeria, so for me it was about what I can do in Nigeria. But like, if you want to do stuff in other, there's no need pretending and and finding yourself in a situation where you spent a year gaining knowledge, but then at the end of the day you can't use the knowledge for anything relevant in your home country. So be honest to yourself. And I was very honest in my Commonwealth Scholarship essays. I didn't talk about doing anything in Nigeria. I kept talking about West Africa and Africa as a whole because that was my reality. And if they decided to check on my references on my LinkedIn, that's what they will see. So you have to be honest. But then at the end of the day, I'm like, Commonwealth doesn't really mandate you to come back, but you still have to leave. But there's no bond like Chivin that says you need to stay like in immediately, in this period.
Exactly. But then I started thinking, yes, but then I now started thinking to myself that, okay, when I graduate with a master's in development studies, what will I do? Like, what will I do that I'm not already doing? How would this help me? But with finance, if I decide to leave the World Bank Group today, I can go to a normal investment bank like JP Morgan. I can go back to the big fours. But then that master's in development studies, I will be stuck in this space of development finance. And we are young. All of us on this call are young. At this stage in your life, you want to explore different things. You try out something. After a while, your board is not working for you. You want to try out something else. So I wanted a degree that will not limit me, that will open many doors for me. And that was why, even though this scholarship paid only for my tuition, I was like, it's worth me taking it because there's so many opportunities here on. And for instance, like in my school now, I've been assigned a mentor. I was telling Faith, who is a vice president in Microsoft, like,
Guys,
I have
start thinking about Ireland. It's like I'll drop the link when I'm sending the recording, the link for the scholarship.
Exactly, I'm going to share the link. And the scholarship for this UCD scholarship opens in closes in February. It opens in December and closes in February. And the condition is that you need to have gotten admission from the school by December. And
okay.
Yes, so if you are interested, you need to start applying now. Get admission by December, and it's just 5 questions of 200 words each. The first question they're asking you, I think, why do you want this scholarship?
Is there a course limit though? Any course?
No, any course at all within the university. And
must your first degree and the course you want to study, must they align, or
not
your
necessarily?
experience?
But your experience,
Perfect.
you have relevant experience to what you want to do, and the minimum is a 2-1 for this scholarship. Like, they don't miss. Fortunately, the minimum is a 2-1 because it's global excellence, so it's all round excellence, academic what did I say? Academic work experience.
But like we said, I don't want anybody to be discouraged. If you have a 2, see other scholarships you can get. You can still get you can still get a whole lot of others. So, but this one is for 2-1. It's all about knowing what it requires. So continue talking about it.
Yeah, so you need to have gotten admission from the school by December, and then send in your essays before the deadline in February. So when you send in your essays, there's no interview. They'll just go through the essays and select the best candidates. And it's not like, I don't know how many people they give the scholarship to every year, but this year we're about 30. Imagine, in a school of just about
30 from where, globally, or
from all
Nigeria?
Yes, from all across the world. Yes, we're just about 30, and we're just 2 Nigerians. So you see that it's not really like, it's not, I don't know how many people apply for the scholarships, but then in the School of Business, we're over 3,000 students. So like, you stand a chance basically if you meet the criteria. And what are the
essays about though? What do they ask you?
So they, like I said before, they'll ask you about your career goals and how the course you want to study relates to it. Then they'll ask you like, what stands you out from other candidates that are applying for the scholarship? Basically, why should we pick you? And then they'll also ask you, how are you going to be an ambassador for the school?
People that want to apply, what are the things they should focus on that can stand them out, basically? Someone is asking what scholarship is that? The University College Dublin, Ireland, the one she got, which is 100% tuition.
Yeah, so the name of the scholarship is Global Excellence. You can just Google it and type UCD Global Excellence Scholarship, and you'll find all the information there. Like, they'll actually tell you what they are looking out for, and
you can stay back. You get like all these opportunities. That's what she has been talking about. Okay,
so you get a 2-year work visa after school, and it's not just my school. Every school in Ireland gives all international students from all countries 2 years work visa after school to get a job if you wish to stay there. And if you don't, you can go back to your home country or wherever else you want to go, do your PhD.
I think UK also has that as well. If you don't get like a scholarship, or if it's a university scholarship. And I know that you won a university scholarship in the UK as well.
Yes, that was University of East Anglia. It was 50% off. So I mean, I like I said before, I told myself I was not going to pay my tuition in any school, so I was not about to complete the 50%.
Yeah, but there are people that maybe can hustle it.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why it's about you. Like, I'm not sharing my story so that you can control C, control V. It's about you. Like, what are your goals? What can you do? What can you not do? Like, I have friends that got 50% scholarships for their MBA in the UK, and they went, and they know that after school they don't have to come back because they know accepted. There was a girl, she won Commonwealth and she won another school scholarship, but she had to pay, like, top up 20%, and she took that one because she knows that after school nobody's holding her leg to come back. So it's about you and about what you know that you can do for yourself financially. Like, some people looked at me, I was like as if I'm crazy. Like, why would you have the Commonwealth scholarship that is fully funded, tickets, visa, health insurance, stipend and everything? Why would you leave that and go for a scholarship that is only tuition? My dear, it's my life. Apart from that, I don't know, maybe I can share this, but my life partner is here with me in Ireland. That was another major deciding factor.
I wanted to say that, but I didn't want to be depressed.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I can put it out there. So it's about you and it's your life. Like, London and Dublin are not that far. I could be shuffling, but then this would have been a really bad time because there's coronavirus and travel restrictions. So imagine
we are in lockdown right now.
Yeah. Imagine if I went there with the mindset that I can come here and visit him, or you can come and visit me. I would have just been stuck. So now, like, he lives just across my street. I can pop in and pop out anytime, and that's what gives me joy. So it's about
people that have relationships, you guys can do couple goals, and
yes,
they can actually stay back after.
Yes, I have a friend who turned down her Commonwealth Scholarship to join her husband in Germany. And in Germany, education in most schools are actually free, so she doesn't have to pay tuition. Yes, but then she and her husband are living in the house together, so she does not really have living expenses. Which is, some people look at it as crazy because you could have taken the Commonwealth and not paid anything at all. But that is where she finds her joy.
She wants to stay back. And that's where she finds her joy.
Exactly. So please, like, scholarships.
But I'm not saying that you can't come back to Nigeria. Please, let's not be encouraging people to just please don't have to come back to Nigeria. I'm coming back after my training because I'm actually interested in Nigeria. Like, everything I'm interested, everything I've been doing, even my experience, like in my essays, I talked about projects that I want to do like across Nigeria. I've always been that person that when people say, oh, Jackpot, I'm like, I'm not going anywhere. I want to develop Nigeria. So that is who I am. And so if you have that dream or you have that passion, there's nothing wrong with that. So I don't want us to say that we're encouraging people to leave or something.
Exactly.
And Chelsea opens doors for you also. So some of the people Commonwealth, they also still open doors for you. So don't think that they are just all bad or whatever.
Exactly. And then again, to be very honest, like, you can impact your home country from anywhere in the world. I'm going to give you an example of one of my mentors that actually like really helped me during this scholarship application thing. He got the Chevening Scholarship to LSE for development studies. Yeah, and he works at the African Development Bank in Cote d'Ivoire. But a lot of the projects that he works on are in Nigeria, so he still travels to Nigeria very often to supervise these projects, like investment projects, development projects, constructions, like loans to the government to build roads and those kind of things. So you actually don't really have to be seated in Nigeria to know that you're doing development. Even myself, while at the World Bank Group, some of my projects.
But if you're applying for those kind of scholarships, you have to be
there. Exactly. So it's up to so always just bear in mind your goals at the end of the day. And for me, for instance, at the World Bank Group, I have colleagues who are sitting in Washington DC and are doing projects in Asia, in Peru. Like, you don't have to be. So it's about you and how you can explain your goals and your reality and know what the scholarship body wants. They cannot say that they want A and you're telling them that you give them B. Like, just be honest to yourself. As I said before, be honest. If your goal in this life is to leave Nigeria and don't come back, that's good for you.
Don't take like that, shall
Exactly. No, I mean, like, then don't apply for Chevening because that's not what they want. I'm being very honest. Don't apply for Chevening. That's not what they want. They want people who will come back and build Nigeria from Nigeria. And if your goal is to, if like you've seen a problem in Nigeria that you're burning to solve it, then Chevening is for you. Commonwealth is for you. Like, just be honest to yourself. Like that.
There's
that's
a question for you from
okay. Sorry, I'm not reading the chat. Sorry.
Oh, she wants to know what you know about the World Bank Young Professionals Program.
Yeah, so the YPP program, you need to have a master's or a PhD to apply for it, and it's actually a really good program because it helps you come to the World Bank at a mid-management level. But then it's very competitive, like very, very competitive. For instance, if you're a master's holder, you'll be competing with people who have PhDs. You'll be competing with people like me who are already working in the World Bank and are completing their masters, and we are applying from inside. So we already
people that are working there can apply from inside.
Yes, because it's like
as unequally yoked.
No, because it's like the YPP program is like, let me say level 5, for instance. I'm just giving a random example. And as an analyst, you're maybe level 4. So that's a way for you to move up, and to get there, you need a master's. So if you've gotten your master's, you're also qualified to apply as an internal candidate. But then I will have an edge over you because I already know the job that is required.
For someone that has just a master's, what tips will you give the person? Because I'm sure the person that's asking, I think she has a master's also. So
yeah, so you just need to have relevant experience. I cannot really talk about it because I have not applied for it.
Yeah.
And I've not won it before.
But you're working in the World Bank now. Give us this tips.
No, but the point I'm trying to make is that I don't know much about it because I don't actually know people that have gotten the YP program because they're all based in Washington DC, and I was working from the Accra office. But I know that all I know is that it's competitive and you need to have relevant experience actually. I don't know if there's a test, but in your essays, one advice I can give is that in your motivation letter, like you need to show that you understand what the World Bank Group is about. You need to show that you understand what they do. You need to talk about projects that they are working on that you think you'll be able to provide, that you'll be able to support.
Add value.
Add value, exactly. That's the expression I was looking for, add value to. And you need to talk about also, why did you choose to work for the World Bank? Like, let me just put it out there that if your motivation to work at the World Bank is because you want to make money, then you're in the wrong place. Like, the World Bank is a not-for-profit organization. So we are not here as an organization to make money. So you as the employee, if that's your goal, we don't match. So you need to have a burden for development, and that's why it's like one of the best places to work that will help you get all the scholarships, because that means that you already understand the importance of impact. So we are not like any other bank that will give you a loan and we just want our interest. Before we even give you a loan, you need to justify as a company, what would that loan help you achieve in your community? Are you creating jobs? Are you replacing imports? How are you emitting gases that are polluting the air? If you are doing that, then we are not investing in you. Are you an alcohol manufacturer? We are not investing in you. You know, those kind of things.
I get you.
So you need to understand and understand the World Bank Group. You don't need to know someone that is working there because we put all our information on our website. So you, like we said, as a scholar, whether academically or professionally, you need to be like comfortable with researching and reading, because that's the only way you will know things.
Most of these scholarships, honestly, as much as I do videos and stuff, you should still go to the website of the scholarships. See, they give you every single thing that you need to know. Every information. Go to their social media. Check, especially if you want Chevnin, even for the interview, because lots of people ask me about interview preparations for Chevnin in this registration. Go to the website and read every single thing that is there. Go to their social media pages. Go and investigate the different scholars, like we've said, and read what they're doing. People that they have chosen, even for this World Bank stuff. Read people that have gotten. Check out what they are doing. I feel like that is very important.
In fact, I had a friend that once told me that looking for scholarships is a full-time job, and I kind of agree, because it's time consuming, to be honest. Like it's really time consuming, and you need to make sacrifices. Like when applying for the scholarship, I was working in Deloitte. I don't know how many of you know Deloitte. Like I was an auditor, and everybody knows that audit work is mad. You go to work in the morning, come back at night. But I will still stay up at night looking for these opportunities, because that's the only thing I can do. I cannot resign from my job to go and sit down at home and be applying for scholarship. So you need to like be ready to put in that extra effort and go the extra mile. So
I even had to pay money for flights. Money that from Lagos to Abuja
for the interview.
Like,
can you see? I was telling a friend of mine some couple of weeks ago that if I'm going to calculate the amount of money I spent on admissions and scholarship applications, like everything, IELTS, scholarship, school application fees, is like 1,000 euros plus. That's like 400 and something thousand naira, and that is the reality. Like, because for me, I was applying to different schools, and schools like LSC, SWAS, like SWAS application is free, but LSC £70, that's the application fee. UCD 70 euros. Like by the time you apply, and I've been applying year after year, like 2017 I applied, 2018 I applied, and most of these schools, they will not renew your admission offer unless you pay a deposit, so you have to forfeit it and reapply again next year. So like putting all those 3 years together, I'm sure I'd spent like over 1,000 euros. And I understand that there might be situations where you cannot realistically afford this, but that's the good thing about most of the schools. They offer application fee waivers if you're able to show that you really cannot afford the application fee in any way. And sometimes you might be able to bypass the IELTS requirement for some schools. Some schools accept WAEC.
My school was just WAEC. I think two of my schools, Sheffield and I think De Montfort. I think there's even a list that we created in Sheffield. I think I will share that with you guys as well.
Some schools accept to write. Some schools accept a letter from your university saying that you were instructed for your 3 years or 4 years in English. So, but some schools are very insistent on the IELTS. If you're interested in finance, some schools will want you to submit GMAT results, and GMAT is not cheap. GRE is not cheap. GRE is not the kind of exam you use 2 weeks and prepare. That's why I'm saying that this thing is time consuming. So, for instance, at my school as well, they also have a scholarship that is 50% of tuition, and the only requirement is to submit a GMAT result. So they give the scholarship to the highest GMAT scores. So if you think that you didn't have a first class or you didn't have a 2-1, but you want a scholarship and you're ready to pay 50% of the remaining tuition, you can also apply for that scholarship as well. And after school, you get the payback benefits as well. So in summary, again, just know what you want. Be honest to yourself about what you want. Don't let your motivation for applying to any school or any job be about money. Let it be about your goals, like your personal goals. What you want to learn for yourself, what you want to achieve, and then what you want to do for your community, because it's very important. Like I always tell myself that if I die today, I think I can say that I lived a fulfilled life, because everything I wanted to achieve, like I've kind of achieved it, especially my personal life, like getting married, having children and all that. Like everything I wanted to do, like impact people, and that's it. Like you can make all the money in this world, and if you've not been a blessing to people, then what was the point of your life? You know, I just, that's me. But some people, they just like,
I get you.
Yeah, so
anyways, I get you. So I think now we'll just quickly go into some of the questions that they asked, because I saw that they filled some questions, and then once we quickly run through that, if you guys still have some specific questions that you'd like us to answer, we can just quickly do that. Okay, so one question I saw that was recurrent is how to write motivation letters for like personal statements. So I know that you got school-specific scholarships, and I believe that school-specific scholarships are good as well. I work with a friend of mine to get like a school-specific scholarship as well. So I feel like there's something that the school is looking for. So what would you advise that people write in their letter of motivation to like a school? What is that it factor, aside from, I have this experience, I have done this? How can they convince a school to give them admission? Because I know people that have applied and did not get admission. How can you convince a school, like top schools, like the schools you've mentioned, schools that are really highly ranked?
So from my experience, the thing about top schools is that, just being very honest, they want you as a future successful person to say that you're an alumni of their school. That's all they want. I'm just being very honest. Like imagine how all these Cambridge, LSE, Oxford, they brag about their graduates being presidents or ministers. That's what they want. Not necessarily in government, like, or being the CEO or VP of XYZ company. So you need to be able to prove to them that you have what it takes to fill in those shoes. And I'm not saying that you need to talk about your goal in 20 years. In the next 5 years, where will you be that will help you
to do?
Yes, get to
and dream big.
Place. Exactly. That's it. Dream big and prove and help them understand your dream. Help them create your dream. Because if you're,
let them see how you want to achieve that dream. How that course and that school is going to lead you there. Exactly.
Like I'm going to just use the example of this girl on LinkedIn. I don't know how many people saw her, Aramide Akintime, the young teacher girl who got into Harvard. Like Harvard is proud to say that they are the school that someone who is doing that kind of thing that kind of work is from their school. It doesn't sound like something big. She's not a president, she's not a minister, but she's making mad impact in the education sector in Nigeria, and they are proud of that. So you need to convince the school that they will be lucky to have you as an alumni. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like,
I get you.
So you need to, like Lola, they said, hype yourself, sell your market. Like at this point in time, you are trying to convince them to get you on board, because you will be in, to be honest, if you think that, like before I used to think that I was smart, I used before I used to think that. Now I don't think that I'm smart again, because the kind of people that I've met and interacted with,
you be like,
that there are levels to this smartness thing, and it didn't start in my master's. It started when I joined Deloitte. Like, I met people from different schools in Nigeria, some people even schooled abroad, and you just see that our thinking perspectives are so diverse. Getting into the World Bank again, it was like, wow, I really don't know anything. And then coming here to Ireland, schooling people from different parts of the world, is just so, like, there are so many reasons for you to be intimidated, but like, you should not be. Be confident in yourself, be confident in what you can do, and talk about, even if you don't have a lot of experience, the little experience that you have, like, construct it in such a way that it's convincing. Like imagine that you're reading your essay and you don't know yourself. Do you understand what
read
you're
your
saying?
essay, and when you're reading it, let yourself even be inspired. Like,
exactly.
When I read my essay, I was like, this is me. Tell your story in a way that you're going to convince them. Exactly. Also, in addition to selling yourself, because I feel like there's also the part of researching the school and researching maybe their projects, name dropping their specific, maybe the school does some events in your field, maybe the school has a department in your field. Say maybe you want to be a researcher, you want to volunteer in this, you want to join the society, or there are things in the environment of the school. For my school now, for example, my school is not highly ranked. Like, if you check the ranking of my school, you'll be wondering what's going on. But the beauty of it is that they're like one of the few schools that are offering creative
discourse. Exactly.
Like, I think it's just 3 or 5 that I saw. 3. I don't think it was more than 3 in the UK that were offering that course.
That's it. And then, so choose the course first. That's what I say. Don't choose the school. Choose the course first.
And let them know. Let them feel special. Like, I'm like, you guys are the only ones that have this course in the perfect combination. The models, I literally hype them. Your models are this, your stuff is this. I know that people do that as well. Your environment, where is the school? I know someone that had wanted to be an HR, or she talked HR in the maritime industry. The school that she chose was in the city that are very big on maritime. So let them know that you've not just researched, or you just didn't choose them because you don't have option. You chose them purposefully. I want to come to your school because, 1, if they are highly ranked, say they are highly ranked. 2, your course models, this and this are going to help me. And I checked a lot. It was you guys, your environment. You have to then, I want to volunteer, I want to add value. I saw this thing that you guys are doing, I can make it better. Especially for school-specific scholarships. You have to show them that while you are in the school, you are going to be a good ambassador. You are going to help your life. And like you said, when you leave, you are still going to continue this thing.
Exactly.
You can even mention being a student ambassador. Like, you have to be specific, I guess.
Yeah, and to be honest, like Faith is saying, as you're gassing yourself up, also gas up the school. Like, make them feel important. And another thing that helps is if you talk about their alumni or specific lecturers that, let's say you're going for a research master's, for instance,
and even for scholarships as well, by the way.
Yes, so like find out some lecturers who have written papers in fields that you're interested in, and talk about it, that, oh, I read this paper by this lecturer and I really think that this, like, talk about how that paper has impacted you, or what you think you can do to add to that body of knowledge, or talk about the fact that an alumni of the school is doing this in XYZ country and you think you can do same in your country. Like, you feel like this course prepare that person for where they are, and this course will also be able to prepare you to get to that same position, you know. And also, to be very honest, schools abroad are not like schools in Nigeria. It's not all about academics. What can you do extracurricularly? Like for instance, in Ireland now, they have this special kind of football called Gaelic football. It's played with the hands and with the legs. In my essays, I talked about the fact that I played football when I was in university. I played football when I was in Deloitte. And I was like, while I was researching Ireland, I had never heard of Gaelic football before, and I watched the videos and I saw that it's very interesting, because in the football I know, touching the ball with your hand is a foul. So I'm interested in learning how to play that kind of football, and I'll join the University Football Society. And that's it. Because there are 100 people that have first class from different schools. So what is standing you out? Like, what else will you do to the school? I also talked about the fact that I would like in a lot of movies that we've watched have been shot in Ireland, like them Harry Potter, like some very legendary movies have used deeper. Yeah, so think outside the box. Like, oh, I want to visit those places. I want to, like, while in school, maybe during my summer break, I want to go on touristic trips and visit those places. And you know what that means? It means that you're not only contributing to the school, you're also contributing to the economy, to the country as a whole.
And that works for Shevlin as well, by the way, because I know some people are asking about Shevlin interviews. Some of the things she's saying, they're going to ask you, what else aside from academics are you going to do in the UK?
Exactly.
So you need to research that.
Exactly. You need to research. For instance, if you say that you want to volunteer, you need to research the various NGOs.
What are their names
in that country and what they do. So you'll be like, oh, I'm going to join the Irish Cancer Society because I want to support XYZ. Talk about it. If you've done something similar in your country, say that you can bring your experience from that side. And
amazing.
You know, it's all of that will stand you out as an applicant beyond your academics, beyond your work experience. And in fact, another thing, Sha, I don't know if they check. To be honest, I don't know if they check, but any school you're applying to, make sure you're following them on social media. Make sure you're following them on LinkedIn. I don't know if they check, but you should, because that's where you see information about their seminars that they're organizing. Let me give you an example. There was a friend of mine who attended an online seminar of one of the lecturers in her school before she even applied to the school, and she was very active during the seminar. So by the time she applied, seeing the lady's name, like, I don't know if that was what happened, but if I consider myself,
if you even did mention it, like, you attended the seminar,
and that you contributed, like, this person was actually please, I think we should give this person admission because they've already demonstrated that they're interested in this school, they're interested in this program, they're interested in everything that this university is doing. So it's not just about books. Like, it's not enough to be an FICO. What do you do outside of academics? Like, if it's movies, there are theaters in that country, there are theaters in that state. Talk about it. I remember I applied to another school in France for the total scholarship. I actually even got to the interview stage for the total scholarship, but at the end of the day, I did not get it because it probably wasn't for me. But then that particular school, they asked, like, during because the school, they did an interview after your essays and everything. They did an interview, and do you know what they're asking me in the interview? So where is our school located on the map of France? Can you imagine?
Wow.
Like, so if I did not know, I'll just start scratching my head, and then it would be an embarrassment. But I had researched the school, I had researched the city. They were like, okay, what do you like best about this city? I was like, I like the fact that it's by the coast, so I can go to the beach at any time. And the lecturer was like, you know, good things, like the beach is one of the best things we have in this city. You know, research the environment where the school is. If there are some, like in Dublin, for instance, there are a lot of finance companies and technology companies here. So you can talk about that in your essay there. Because you know that in Ireland, they allow you to stay back after school. Like, oh, your goal is that after this program, you want to work in this particular company as this particular role, because you've seen that alumni from that program are working there, and that is what you want to do. That you've already started finding out about their programs, and they have this summer program that you want to do. So, like, show them that you've really, really researched everything about the school, everything about the program, and your academics and your experience will just be a plus.
That's good, actually. Thank you so much. I'm trying to get some questions. Somebody asked about getting undergraduate scholarship in Nigeria. I saw that about 3 of that. And I know that your younger sister got an undergraduate scholarship, right?
Yes, but she's not in Nigeria. So
yeah, like
when
abroad,
the person says in Nigeria
or abroad.
Or abroad. Okay. So for undergraduate scholarships in Nigeria, I know that there are many. Like, there are school scholarships, and there are also like government scholarships, and some scholarships funded by Total, NMPC. I don't know much about it because I have never applied for any of the scholarships, but the scholarship I got during my undergraduate was purely based on academic performance, and Faith can tell you guys about it as well. Like, it was just the top 3 in each faculty will get 100%, 75%, and 50% respectively. So, but for undergraduate scholarships, I think it's much more easy than PG scholarships because you don't need to show any form of experience. You just need to have excellent high school results. Basically, that's it. Like, so if you're planning on getting an undergraduate scholarship, if there's anyone in this call that is or that has siblings that are in high school, like, tell them to take their WAEC and all that seriously, and tell them to form meaningful friendships with their teachers. Because my sister's reference, like, I didn't know that they used to ask for reference from high school teachers. It was when my little sister was doing her scholarship and school applications that I saw that for the first time, because in universities in Nigeria, nobody will ask you for any reference from your high school teacher, but they take it very seriously in schools abroad. So they should form meaningful relationships with their principal, vice principal, head teacher, those kind of things, because those are the people that can write about your behavior in school. And it's not just about your academics, because if they need to know about your academics, they can see it on your transcript, on your WAEC results, but about the students' behavior, the students' representation of the school, only the teachers can talk about that. So advise your younger siblings to start forming meaningful relationships with these people, because they're the only ones that can help them. And advise them also to be IT knowledgeable, like to know how to use Word, to know how to use Excel, because there's only so much you can do. Like, I was actually really impressed by my sister. She wrote all her essays by herself. I just gave her like tips or guides on how to do it, and the first output that she gave me was actually very good, and like the school accepted it and she got scholarships. So there are, like, again, you need to research, identify the course you want to study. My sister, since she's been 12 years old, she's been saying she wants to be an aeronautic engineer. Nobody put it in her head. No school in Nigeria was even offering the course, but that's what she said she wanted to study. My dad insisted that she should go to Covenant. She got admission, said she's not going. She wants to study aeronautics. She started looking out for schools herself, like the schools that are ranked, highly ranked in that course. She found the school she was interested in. She applied. She found the scholarships that the school had. She applied and she got it. So, like, it's not cast in stone. And that's one thing I want to advise everyone again. Like, don't do something because everyone else is doing it. Like, don't apply for Chevening because everybody is applying. So you think that's the best scholarship. First of all, there's no best scholarship in this world. Please, if you're thinking that there's no scholarship, I'm sorry to say, I know this to Chevening or Commonwealth, but no scholarship in this world is more prestigious than the other. As long as you're getting a scholarship and you're not paying for anything, like, you should be proud of it. It is something worth being proud of, and don't think that it will open any opportunities for you. So don't do something because every other person is doing it. You can be in Tokyo. I have friends who are in Tokyo, in Japan, and they are doing crazy things in biology, in science, in medicine, on scholarship. So, like, don't just follow the popular ones. There are so many more opportunities in other fields and in other countries that you don't even know. So you need to research, decide the course. After the course, find out about the schools, then look at the modules, look at the alumni, and make your decision. You can decide. And then I always advise people, don't put all your eggs in one basket. It's good to be motivated and to know what you want, but don't put all your eggs in one basket. Like, have at least 3 or 4 schools that you're applying to, in case one disappoints you, so you have you have other options.
Someone is even asking for like encouragement, because honestly, let's be really honest, the scholarship experience in itself can be really mentally draining. You can be really nervous, the waiting period, trying to wait for feedback, the tension going for an interview, even getting rejected, finding that motivation to try again and again, because I know that you've also been rejected as well. So what encouragement, what advice can you give people that they've been trying, but like, how can they stay on course without, falling on the wayside?
So the first thing I'll say is that you should surround yourself with like-minded people. So have friends who have similar goals to you, who are also applying for similar opportunities, because so that if all of you are rejected, people console yourselves together, and if all of you accepted, you rejoice together. If some of you accepted and others rejected, you'll be able to still console each other and rejoice with each other, But if you are all alone, you'll be feeling like you are a failure until you, because for instance, and I had a lot of friends who also applied for Chevening, apart from Faith, who got rejected last year, and I know that these people are really good. So seeing them getting rejected, it gave me, like, it kind of consoled me that, Ibukun, you are not a failure, like, and because none of your friends are failures, and if they didn't get it, it simply means that it was not their time. And but if you are all alone, it's be like, God, so I'm not even good, I not get this thing. But you don't know that there are thousands of other people who did not also get it, who are also very good. So be part of these communities. Like on Facebook, there are so many Chevening scholarship groups, there are so many Commonwealth scholarship groups. Join these groups, learn from other people's experience, like stalk Chevening scholars, inbox them, DM them, ask them for like help in reviewing your essays. Like, don't ask anybody to send you their essay. Please, if you've been doing that, stop it. I'm serious.
You can actually turn off the person, actually.
Yes,
and it's not going to even help you.
I'm serious. If anybody asks me for my essay, I will not be happy with that person, and I will not. Like, the best I can do for you is to help you review your essay and tell you where you're going astray and tell you where you're doing well and where you should continue. But don't ask, because people's essays are very personal to them, to their stories and their career goals, which they don't necessarily want to share with others outside of the scholarship board. So the best thing to do is to reach out to these people and ask them for their help in other ways other than sharing their essays.
Okay, there are some specific questions here though. There are questions around Erasmus, around PhDs, around specific schools. So what I'm going to do for the next session, I'm actually bringing an Erasmus scholar, and I'm seeing that PhD questions are recurring. So we're going to look at bringing a PhD holder. However, there's a question there about getting a PhD in Oxford. The truth is, you know that the school is extremely competitive, but you should not let the level of competition deter you. I feel like for schools like Oxford, your experience is very, very, very important. Like, I don't know what your research focuses on, but like whatever it is you want to pitch to them, you have to have like created, like, you have to have worked hard on it. It's not a joking something. You have to have a strong track record. For example, there's a scholar in my set that got a scholarship. She studied in Oxford. Now, Chevin has like a limit on. Chevin has like a limit on. Sorry, I'm a little distracted. Chevin has a limit on the funding for like MBA, and she got an MBA to study at Oxford. So this means that she had to get like a whole lot of other scholarships to be able to fund it. But one thing I noticed that really helped her was she was working in a top organization. She had done quite a number of things in terms of MBA, and like all the different things that we've said, she was able to pitch herself, talk about her experience. She was able to talk about the fact that she wants to be the president of the student body. She wants to add impact to the student body, and that's what she's currently doing now. She was able to like literally put herself, talk specifically about the different areas that she wants to impact, and also the course she wanted to study, she was able to amplify the impact that course is going to have in the lives of diverse amounts of people. She was also able to show a difference. So you need to be able to choose unconventional topics and do unconventional things as well. Make sure what you have is really, really strong. Your goals are strong, your experience are strong, and you are able to give enough information about the school as well. However, because it's masters I'll ensure that after the Erasmus, I'm going to bring somebody that has like a PhD. Depends on who comes first, so that you can have somebody who has gotten this talk more in-depthly about that. The next question I'm trying to find, but if you guys have specific questions so that we don't just skip you guys, you can just drop it while I'm trying to find some of the other questions that you guys have asked, and so that we can round up pretty soon. People keep asking about websites for scholarship opportunities. Honestly, like Ibukun has said, just decide on the course and Google it. For real, like, I'm not even joking.
So maybe I should give you guys tips on finding like the best schools in a particular course. There's some university rankings like QS, there's also world best university or something like that, but you need to filter it by course and by country. So you first need to decide on the course and also on the country, and the things that will help you decide on what country you will go is things like, do you want to stay back and work after school? If yes, then you need to know the countries that give you after school work opportunities. And don't ask me what countries give you that, just Google it. Like, what countries allow international students to stay back? You'll see a list of countries. So when you enter the QS university ranking or the world best university ranking, you filter by the course and by the country. It will suggest you the number of the different schools that offer that course. Then you go to the school's website and you check the course module, see if you like the courses that they're offering in that particular program, and also go to LinkedIn, search people that have gone to that school.
I think we've
see where they
mentioned
have
this
worked.
over
Yes.
and over.
So like you can't be asking people like what are the scholarship opportunities available to me, because you know why I can't answer that question? I don't know you.
Yeah.
I don't know your background. I don't know your experience. I don't know if you're from a rich home or poor home. And honestly, I don't need to know. So you need to do some research. Like scholars can be the one doing that research for you, because we've already done our own research. Don't give us double work. If you're long, I'm using God to beg God.
So there are just 2 more questions, and I guess that we'll just round up. I think some of them are specific to me. One of them is how to get masters for arts-related courses. It's even related to what we are saying, actually. But what I just feel that will really help you guys, maybe I should just give you guys expo. I believe that the creative industry in Nigeria is basically the future, honestly, because there are so many people that are talented. If you want to go to the UK, or you want to go to the US, or you want to go to Canada or whatever, you need to research the creative industry in those countries. Know how those industries. So let's say you want to study drawing. Think about how people that are artists in the country you want to apply to, how are they impacting? How do they have do they work with social organizations? Do they work with NGOs? Is their work contributing to the GDP of the country? You need to really research. So for me, I wanted to study creative enterprise. And for people that even want to study writing or literature, think about how can writing or creativity or whatever course that is in that arts field that you want to study, think about how it can help maybe socially, or how it can help economically. One of the ways you can really magnify your course is thinking about how it can help socially and economically. And I feel that's going to be good. And also think about scholarships that can allow that course. So there's some scholarships that they have specific courses, don't bother, and there are some that they allow any course. So it's just really all about you really explaining the value in it. I can't say that there's no course that you can get scholarship in, especially for Chevnin. I know that you can basically do any course. It's just all about, the major thing is whatever course you are even choosing, can that course affect the lives of 10,000 people or 1,000 people? That's just the real question.
Faith, I was telling you yesterday about a PhD scholar here in Dublin who is studying music and anatomy. I have never, first of all, heard someone studying that kind of combination, of course, but he got a full scholarship for his PhD for the next 3 years with stipend of 2,000 euros every month. And he gets
I will bring this your friend.
Honestly, and he gets to be a teaching assistant for those in the Department of Music in their undergraduate years. And I've heard so many more stories of other people in the US. The US too is also one country that gives scholarships for very random courses, but you need to know the schools that are giving out these scholarships, and the only way you can know is by deciding on the course honestly, not because you've heard that in this course they give a lot of scholarships, but because that's the course you want to do. This guy, he's not a singer, but he is he coordinates musicals, stage play musicals, and he has an ear for music, but he does not just have the voice for it. And in terms of instruments and things, and that is his passion. That's what he did in his BSc, in his MSc, and now he's doing a PhD in it. And the other guy I told you is doing a PhD in economics as a scholar here. Also, he's an ex-Chivning scholar. Also, he did his masters in the UK on Chivning scholarship. So, and to be honest, once you get
I'm coming to Ireland.
Once you get a scholarship once in your life, it's very easy for you to get other scholarships in the future because you already know what they are looking out for. So
there's also another question here is interviews. I don't know if your scholarships, if you had to do interviews, but I know you've done interviews for World Bank and stuff. So people keep asking for interview tips. So when they get shortlisted, how can they ace the interview? I'll just talk about mine and then talk about yours as well. Okay. So for me, I believe that for you to get to the interview stage, you are already excellent. Trust me, because for them to have said this person is good, for them to have said, oh, let me shortlist this person, they think you are good enough. So do not even let fear come in at this point. What you should just realize is that I deserve to be here. Because one thing I noticed that once you start letting fear enter, once you start being intimidated, jittery, you start to go off and on. In my interview at first, I was a little scared, and then that affected my thinking. So when they'll ask me questions, I'll be going like this. But the moment I started about it, that Faith, you worked hard for this. You've prayed for this. You've gotten here. You cannot leave this place and forgive yourself. You deserve to be here. These people believe that you deserve to be here, and that's it. I told myself I deserve to be here, and then I started talking. Do you get? So the first thing is you need confidence. Like, when you enter, let them know that, hey, are we worthy to have this person?
Exactly.
Like, you need to give them that vibe. So the first one they tell you, tell us about yourself. Honestly, don't sound like you're confused. Before that day, that's like usually the first question. Arrange that question. Think about all the things that are phenomenal about you. For me now, I have academic excellence. I have like a brand and different things. And then I need a story I wanted to tell. So I wanted to study MSc Creative Enterprise. So I knew that I needed to defend how I am the best person to study that course. So when I went there, I said, number one, I am a creative. I do writing, poetry, this and that. I'm a creative entrepreneur. I have this brand and that has won this thing. Even though the award might not be Grammys or the biggest award, I am still amplifying.
You are still an award winning.
It's still award winning, whatever it is. They will not ask you what type of award winning. Do you understand? And then finally, I'm a creative leader doing this and that. I also have a first class degree in this. I basically, by the time I was done with the introduction, we were like, because once you start well, all the awesome things about you, say it in that who are you. There's no need to say I'm from Ogun State or I'm from Odo State or I'm 80 years old.
Really?
They don't need that. What they want to know is what are the phenomenal things about you in that tell us about yourself. But don't say it all the way that you are listing achievements. Make it like you're telling a story. So when I ended up like all of these experiences have made me very passionate about the creative industry, and this is why I'm interested in furthering my studies in creative enterprise. Like they were like, okay. Then the other questions, any question they ask you, just like the way essays are, you need to think about the STAR approach. Don't just start. One mistake that I feel like I made in the first few questions that people tend to make is they start answering the question before they even think about it. They are not forcing you to answer immediately. And once they ask you, just start talking. You can take a 1 second, 2 seconds, think about it, arrange it in your head, the STAR approach. So when they ask you, how are you a leader? Don't just say I'm a leader, because a leader is somebody that knows the way, shows the way, and goes the way. No, think about the effect. So you can start with a story. Like, I feel like that's one of the best ways to actually get these people. Say, in 2016, okay, I believe I'm a leader because I've been maybe solving problems or whatever. Then you now start. In 2016, I discovered this. I did this. I had to do this, and this led me to do this. As a result, I was able to touch the lives of people. Whatever question they're asking, they're not asking you to say, if they ask you things like, how are you a leader? What is your greatest achievement? It's not to say, I won an award. Except that award was a recognition of
something you had done,
that you had. It's everything you are saying. Let it blend to the impact that you're having. So that's like really, really important. So whatever question they're asking, think about in the STAR approach. What is the situation? What is the task? What is the action? What is the result of this thing? Let whatever answers you're giving, let it follow that. Also, ensure that you're selling yourself. So even the one they did not ask you, took it inside small, but don't go off key. Any question they ask you, so they ask me questions like, somebody asked me questions they asked me in my interview. Let me just see if I can remember. Tell us about yourself. How are you a leader? Tell us about your networking experience. How can you handle a master's course with all of extracurricular activities? Because really, like Ibukun said, we are really going through a lot. Let me just tell you, if you are not ready to read book, stop this scholarship journey, because it's actually a lot. Like, you will really read, so be prepared to read. So they're going to ask you, how are you going to handle that? What you should always do, that whatever question they're asking you, like in terms of how are you going to do something in the future, first talk about how you did your past. So when they asked me, how are you going to handle this? I said, in my undergraduate, I wanted to get a scholarship. So, but then I was part of the library unit. I was part of it. I also mentioned I was part of a dance school. I think they like all those non-serious things. I said I was a dancer in school. I started listening to different things that I've done, but I was able to organize everything and still do well. So these are the lessons I learned. I mentioned specific skills I gained. I said I'm going to apply them when I'm in the UK too. So you have to say, in the past, I have done this. Don't just say, I think I can do it. How have you done it before? In the past. Do you understand? And then smile, please. Be cheerful, laugh. I was literally laughing with my interviewer. Don't get me laughing when they ask me to laugh. But if it's really funny, laugh. Like, you deserve to be there. That's what I just really want you to know.
Yeah.
You deserve to be there. Like, be cheerful. Look them in the eye. Don't be doing things like, I think you're competing with people that have done maybe even more things than you.
So
how charismatic can you be? Be confident. Any question they ask you, thank you for that question. So I have done, do you understand? I feel like once you're able to reflect down, once you are telling a story, once you are focusing on the impact, once you are focusing on what you have done in the past and bringing it into the future, I feel like that is really, really going to, and then they're also going to ask you for questions. So think about a thoughtful question that you can ask them. At that time, I think coronavirus had just started in Nigeria. So I asked them that, hey, all this coronavirus will not affect the achievement process for this year. And it did eventually, because now all our events were offline. But then it helped us positively and negatively, because obviously IELTS, they waived it from our set. And now if you're applying for traveling, you don't need IELTS, by the way. So you need to ask a thoughtful question, really. That's what I just think. So Ibukun will just give our own tips. And then if you have any questions, then we can call it a day.
To be honest, I think Faith has pretty much said it. A few things I would just like to add. So whether it's a job interview, a scholarship interview, an admission interview, because some schools will interview for admission, like UCD, I had to record, like they gave you some questions and you have like 3 minutes to record your answers to those questions as part of the admission process. The school in France also did the same, and I attended interviews for the total scholarship after writing the test. So you would face interviews in nearly every aspect of your life, whether job, school, admission, or scholarship, and you need to be prepared. And one way you can prepare, which I shared already, is talk to people who have attended those interviews in the past. So in all of my interviews, I reached out to, like for instance, my World Bank interview, I reached out to people who had interviewed before in that particular office. I didn't just reach out to people at the World Bank, because I wanted to be sure that the people that will interview me are the same people that interviewed them. And usually people have interviewing styles without knowing it. Like they might not ask the exact same questions, but they have a way of asking the questions that would be consistent over time. So you want to find out about those people, and that might not be possible achieving because they will probably rotate the interviewers every time, but at least you have an idea. By asking 10 scholars, there will be some questions that will be in common.
That recurring.
So, exactly. So ask as many people as you can, and in your asking, please be polite. Don't just reach out to me on LinkedIn from the blues and go, please, I'm preparing for an interview. Like, you've not even introduced yourself. I don't know you. Like, so introduce yourself politely.
Don't write things like, hey, hi.
Exactly.
Please.
So, like, just be polite and tell them this is what you're doing and this is how you need their help. And, and if possible, like me, there was a particular person, after she gave me the interview tips, I ended the conversation by saying, I look forward to getting this job and coming to Accra, and I'll be happy to treat you to a cup of coffee. Like, and when I got the job, I actually did, and that has added to my network today. Like, this person has become my friend, and she's not my mate in any way. Like, she was a manager in PwC who happened to work in IFC for a short while. So you need to also keep the relationship, even if the person gives you advice and you don't get the scholarship. Don't cut off the person of your life, because you don't know when next you will need them. That's another thing I want to say.
What if you're applying again?
Yes, what if you're applying again? And always give them feedback. Like, whether the interview went well, tell them the interview went well. When you hear back, if you got the scholarship, tell them you got it. If you didn't get it, tell them that you didn't get it, but you'll try again next year, and you're hoping that they will support you again next year, because you never know where, like, people will show up for you. And that was what I did. Even for the total scholarship, I talked to like 10 former total scholars. Some of them went to my undergraduate school. I talked to those that went to the postgraduate school I was eyeing. I talked to someone who was in my office at the World Bank that got that scholarship. I talked to a couple of people, and at the end of the day, I did not get the scholarship, but those people are in my life today as my friends or my mentors, and there's nothing I need that is reasonably possible for them that I can't walk up to them to ask. So even in preparing for interviews, you can use that to build your network as well. And you never know where throwing out one person's name can change the game for you. And I'm going to give an example with my UCD scholarship application. So I met this manager on LinkedIn, a Deloitte manager, and I reached out to him. I chose him because not only did we go to the same school, not only did we get the same scholarship, but we had both, like, I'd worked in Deloitte before, and he's a manager in Deloitte here in Ireland. So in my essays, I'd just known this guy for 2 months before applying for the scholarship, but in my essays, I painted a picture that this guy is my motivation to come to this school, because by him going to this school and going to this program, this is the post. He made manager in 6 years, which is not common to make manager in 6 years. You need like 8 or 10 years. But I painted a picture that it seems to me that this course,
to paint pictures and amplify the little thing that you have into something big.
Exactly. So I was like, it seems to me that this course prepared him to make like massive growth in the industry, because it's not common for someone to make manager in 6 years, and that's the kind of growth I'm looking for, not necessarily in a Deloitte, but even in an investment bank. And I've been in contact with this guy, and if the school decided to write to that man to ask, do you know Ibukun, he cannot deny me, because we have been talking over the phone. Even when I got the scholarship, I wrote to him. When I came to Ireland, I wrote to him. He was like, it's a pity that there's coronavirus, would have gone out for drinks, you know. I mean, there's a way to, like, you need to sense the how do I put it, how the person you're talking to is feeling. If the person is a very serious person, please don't offer them coffee or drinks. But if you from your chats, from your calls, you sense that the person is a jovial person, like, take the relationship outside of the 4 squares of work, because you never know when they'll come in handy. If today I'm interviewing with Deloitte, I can ask this person to write a reference for me, and it will carry weight because the reference is coming from the inside. Do you see what I mean? So you need to be very strategic, and like Faith said in your interviews, exude confidence. Like, don't come and now start sounding proud or like you know it all, but exude confidence. And again, when you are saying the truth, it will be difficult for you to be stuck. It is when you are lying that you'll be forgetting the things you wrote in the essay, because it will be what can never happen. So you need to be honest in your essays. I cannot overemphasize.
Show passion.
Yes. I can't overemphasize, to be honest, because it will come to you naturally if you're being honest. If what you said is true.
It will be in your eyes, the way your hands movement, everything is going.
And whatever you're saying, make sure that it relates to what is in your essays. Because if you start saying things that are not in your essays, or there's something very important in your essay that you don't mention, then they'll start doubting you. Like, okay, if this thing is such a great achievement, why is she not talking about it?
Be consistent with your essays. They just want to know that you are the person that wrote those essays, and that's it. That's what they really want to know. So you have to just be consistent, literally, and then show passion, like in your body movements, in your eyes, in your face, everything. Let them just be like, this person is passionate. God, just take my money.
Exactly. and that's why it's really important that you write your essays yourself. Like, don't copy another person's essay. If you're going to use someone else's essay, let it just be a guide. Yes.
Yeah.
So that when you're talking about it, you know that it's from you, like it's internally generated. You're not trying to think or trying to remember stuff, because that's your reality. And again, show up on time for your interview. Like, I cannot overemphasize this.
Go and check the place a day before. Don't do like me, because it's for those of you that know my
somewhere that you're not used to.
Hey, on the day of
somewhere you've never been.
I did not know the way. I was almost late. Like, literally, don't do that.
So you need to show up on time for your interview. And I'm going to give an example. When I was interviewing with KPMG, that was in 2017, right? I got to my interview. I mean, it might be good, and in some cases it might not be good, because some companies will tell you specifically, don't come here more than 15 minutes before your time. But in this case, there was no such restriction. So I got there an hour before, and it so happened that the partner that was meant to interview me got like an emergency that had to take them out of the office at the time of my interview. But because I was there an hour before, they were like, "Madam, please, are you ready for your interview? Like, the partner has something to attend to at that time. We are so sorry, but it's good that you're here early. So if you're ready, you can come. I was like, yeah, I'm ready. That's why I'm here. And I went, and the interview went well. And she was really impressed that I showed up way ahead of time, and it enabled her to continue with her own activities. If I was not there, they would have just sent me an email to say, we are sorry, there was a last minute change in the partner's schedule, so we have to move the interview to another day. And the other day might not have been convenient for me. So show up on time. Even when it's an online interview, make sure that your computer is set 5 minutes before, like you're not struggling to turn on your camera or fix your sound. You know, when you're agitated, you start to fret. Yes, so make sure that you are calm, you're comfortable, like everything is like there are unexpected circumstances that can happen, but always make sure that you have backup. Always have backup internet. Always make sure that your battery is well charged if it's an online interview. Always make sure that you have torchlight, because NEPA can off light on you and you don't want your video to go dark. Always have a lamp. If you're in Nigeria, have a lamp by your bedside. Try and make, like Zoom now, they have Zoom backgrounds. If you live in a house that is messy, or you have children, like your siblings running around, use a Zoom background. Anybody that is passing beside you, they will not see them. It's those little things that show that you are serious, and because it can be distracting as an interviewer if I'm interviewing you and there's a kid that keeps running in your back and you will not have to, hey, stop it. That just like, some other people might understand because it's the reality.
Some people might not
now, and some people might not. They might just feel like you are not serious. If you were serious, you'd have gone to a quiet place. And most people, they will actually tell you in the interview email, like, make sure that you are in a quiet place, make sure that you're in a place that has no distraction. I remember the total interview. Before the interview, they put us in a prep room, and some total staff told us to rotate our camera around the room. They just wanted to be sure that there was no form of disturbance, because the people on the panel were very strict about that kind of thing. So don't have a wardrobe with clothes hanging in the background. Those kind of things, is those little things. You never know what someone is finicky about. So just make sure that in all aspects you can be prepared, and you don't need to have an accent to pass an interview. Please, if you don't have an accent on a normal day, don't go and start forming American or British accent. I beg you in the name of God, like you will just make a fool of yourself.
You'll be turned off.
Yes, because by the time you start being passionate about what you're saying, you will lose the accent if it's not something that you have. So, and you don't need an accent to impress them. They don't want to sponsor somebody.
They don't even need big English.
They don't need it. Just like
be you.
Yes, be you. Exactly. I've made a lot of Chinese and Indian evening scholars whose English is not all there, but they know what they are about and they know what they are there for. So just be you. Like, don't try and form, and don't, again, I cannot emphasize this, be honest. Don't say that you did something when you did not do it. Don't say that you got a diploma or a certification that you don't have, because you never can tell. They can ask you to send those certificates, and if you don't have it, like, you've just embarrassed yourself and you can be blacklisted from the company or from the scholarship or from the school. So, like, more important, just be prepared and know acronyms. No acronyms. If you're applying, for instance, you're applying to UCD and you don't know that UCD means University College Dublin. What are you doing here? Like, some people just know the names, or you're applying to UNESCO and you don't know what UNESCO means.
Be calming down.
Yes, no, this is true, because I've been opportunity to be on the other side of some interview tables, and some people have done really embarrassing things. Like, it's possible that because of anxiety you are not in your best position, and when that happens,
you're just not prepared.
Yeah, be honest with your interviewers. I once attended an interview that I felt like I was very underqualified for that job, but it was my manager who recommended me, so I just had to attend it. So at the beginning of the interview, I was so nervous, and when I joined, I was like, please, I'm really sorry, but I just have to put this out there that I'm really nervous about this. It wasn't for a job or anything, it was to present something on behalf of the company. I'm really nervous. They're like, oh, no problem, do you need a minute to calm down, or do you want some water? You can stand
I
up
actually
and get
did
some
that
water.
in my interview, actually. I said, sorry, they said, do you need I need a minute.
Exactly.
Do you want to drink water? I drank water. I told myself,
please be
calm
honest.
down.
Yes, be honest.
They want
like
humanity.
Yes, you're a human being before anything else. So if you're feeling nervous and it's not internal, it's from the environment, or maybe the people you are seeing are very influential people and it's making you nervous, you can say that, I'm sorry, I've never been in the presence of such highly placed people and it's making me a bit nervous. Like, I need a minute to process this. They cannot tell you no. If you're in a waiting room and they offer you coffee or they offer you water and you know that you need it, you're finished,
drink
take it and drink it.
Don't get there and start me something that was off. I drink water. I said, sorry, let me drink water.
You use that as you're drinking the water. You're using that as a joke.
I'm like, wait, let me drink water. Wait. You just have to do yourself, really. Like, they don't want to be bored of you.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like we could go on and on and on, and we're literally going to give you guys like a lot. So what I just feel is that if you guys have specific questions, you could just send them to an email. I'm thinking of creating maybe a group chat, or it really depends, honestly. But I'll at least send you guys an email, like a link to this recording. And then if you guys have any specific questions, you can just respond and then we can answer your questions. A lot of people asked about the link to this recording. It's going to go up on my YouTube channel, AFM Stories. So AFM Stories, just check on YouTube. I would also email the YouTube link to you guys. And there's some specific questions here that are just really detailed. And I feel like it's better I bring people that have gotten those specific opportunities to come and talk to you guys about it. So I know that you guys asked for some specific scholarships. I've already been in communications with some scholars to be able to get them. And there's some questions to require like a whole video to talk about, or an email. So if you guys have specific questions, especially about the Ireland scholarship, you can just send a message to Ibukun and she would respond, or you can send me an email and then I can get it across to her as well. But I will email everybody the link to this. For specific tips on scholarships, you can just check my YouTube channel. I have an interview series with scholars called My Scholarship Stories. So from MasterCard to Commonwealth to Chevening, I've spoken to quite a number of scholars. They have stories that they were able to tell. And then if you want Chevening too, there's like a detailed guide about that. So thank you guys so much for staying to the end. I know that we've talked quite a lot and I'm really happy and rooting for you guys. I'm looking forward to seeing your success stories and just literally hearing back from you. And thank you, Ibukun, for making time. I know that you have an assignment you need to submit, but you literally made time for us today, and I'm so grateful.
Thanks, guys. I'm honored, and I really hope that every one of you enjoyed the session. Morenike, I'm seeing you. Morenike was actually my colleague in Deloitte. I'm happy you could make it here. Thanks for coming, and I hope that you learned something. And feel free to reach out to me on my Instagram or on LinkedIn. Unfortunately, those are the only two social media platforms I'm active on. So if there's anything I can help with, I'm happy to help. And if I can't help, I will definitely know someone in my network that can assist you. So feel free to reach out to people. And in your reaching out to people other than me, like, make sure that you're polite. Yes. For instance, if you're reaching out to me from this event, you can tell me that, I attended the Zoom session with AFM Stories and my name is this, so that I know where you're from and how we met. Just helps a lot. And thank you guys for that. And I just saw someone's question asking if they will accept Yoruba as a second language. Sorry, I'm just saying that it depends on the company. Like a bank in Nigeria or an MTN or Airtel, they might accept Yoruba as a second language because they have local calls that you need to take or something like that. But for international organizations, please, it's the 5 languages: French, Arabic, Russian, Spanish, and what's the other one now? And Mandarin, Chinese. Yeah, those are the 5 international languages. But then some companies, like if you're going to work in India, some companies might ask you for Hindi. So it depends on the company and the situation. But when you say second language, we are mostly referring to the 5 UN languages. Thank you.
The IG handles are on the flyer though, but I think I will just have to send everybody an email, or you could just say your IG handle again. It's Eunice Bamikole.
Yes, that's correct.
Mine is AFM Stories on all channels, but I will send a link for you guys to see. All right, thank you all so much.
Thanks everyone. Bye.
Bye. I hope you guys have a great day.